the mainstreaming of the hustle.
Okay.
More content, more movies.
More content, more movies, and
And speaking of such,
oh yeah.
are you familiar with the Surviving El Chapo project?
No.
Okay, our friend, good people at G Unit
What up?
Production, how you guys doing?
What's happening?
50 Curtis 50 Cent Jackson is doing his thing. And salute to and shout out to him and those good people at G Unit.
Yeah, big time.
Guys have not checked out. They're doing some stuff with the home team here. Blowing money fast.
That I did check out. Oh, that was classic.
The docu-series about the homie Meech and the homie T and that whole BMF family thing. But anyway, yes, Surviving El Chapo is a podcast that 50 Cent is going to be hosting himself in conjunction with the Flores twins. And I know Al, so check out.
That's what that was about. Okay, okay.
Check out, shout out to my man Al Prophet, his channel American Dope. And also shout out and congrats to another one of our business associates, Scott Bernstein, and what he's doing with Blowing Money Fast.
Yes.
Over there on Stars. But yeah, so 50 Cent got this new thing coming out. You know, our space is just, this whole true crime space is just exploding. So it's going to be a podcast called Surviving El Chapo. It's going to have the Flores twins. The Flores twins were basically El Chapo's principal American distributors.
Okay.
They were working directly with the Sinaloa cartel and one of the other major cartels, but definitely Sinaloa and El Chapo. These guys had spent time at El Chapo's home. As the dirty game that is played, they actually ended up testifying against El Chapo.
Okay. Wow.
They're talked about in a lot of urban hip hop songs. Fat Joe has done some stuff about the Flores twins. DMX was personal friends with them. They were based in Chicago. And Al, again, I was saying, Al Prophet and American Dope, he did a lot of stuff on the Flores twins. He did a whole series on them, so you guys can check out. If you want some backstory on who these guys with the Surviving El Chapo is, check out Al Prophet's American Dope. It's got a lot of stuff from the Flores twins. So I was watching, 50 was talking about this coming up, and it's a crazy story how the intersection.
Okay.
So as it goes, 50 says that, you know, like how Rockefeller, they all had the Rockefeller chains, right?
Yeah.
Well, 50 did the same thing. He had bought people who got down with him these G Unit pieces, right?
Right.
So one of the guys who has this G Unit piece, I don't know if you're familiar with, back in the day in Chicago, they've torn them down now. They were the Cabrini Green projects.
Yeah, I've heard of the Cabrini Green crowd. Yeah.
rough part of town.
Yeah, that's South Side, right?
Yeah. One of his members of the G Unit team decides to go to a party.
Oh, this don't end well.
Decides to go to a party in Cabrini Green with his iced out G Unit piece.
Yeah, it don't end
well. Well, he left the party, just not with his chain. They did, which, if you know about Cabrini Green, the fact that he was allowed to leave the party,
that's saying a lot.
He was still a very blessed man.
Yes, he was.
He just was minus a medallion and a chain when he left the party.
Why don't you run that on me?
They definitely thought that they would leave him with that so he wouldn't have to worry about keeping track of that chain. So you need to let us hold that for a minute.
Right.
Let me hold that for a minute. So they take the chain, and I guess whoever took the chain from him, they're thinking it's this. Now the flip part of the story is 50 tells it he didn't want to pay insurance on the real piece except for his piece.
Okay.
So he had a lot of Fugazi G Unit pieces made that he would let the crew wear.
Okay.
And he'd keep the real iced out G Unit pieces in the safe.
Okay.
So old boy was relieved of a Fugazi G Unit train, but the thieves don't know it, nor does he. So the thieves who then took my man G Unit chain, thinking, who can afford to pay for this? Who can we hit this quick lick with? They know of these two Mexican cats, the Flores twins, who are moving the crowd and got the biggest bag in town.
Okay.
They take the chain to the Flores twins, who check it out. Obviously, they know a little bit about jewelry, and they're thinking though, they're looking at it like this chain ain't right, this medallion ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
But they like, somebody gonna be looking for this chain because it's too nice of an imitation for it not to be somewhere not really connected with G Unit.
Right.
So they throw a couple dollars. They tell the guys, look, man, this chain really ain't right, but here go a couple dollars.
Okay.
With, you know. Then they take the replica, reach out to some people they know, because again, they were doing business with, or they were not doing business, they were familiar and social acquaintances with guys like Fat Joe and DMX.
Okay.
They get in touch with some of 50's people at G Unit and be like, you guys missing a chain and a medallion? And that's how the Flores twins and 50
and they
coalesced was over this chain.
Okay.
And I guess the relationship continued. He brought up another interesting thing from a show that we both followed and did some stuff. What city was Ozark based in when it starts?
That was what that was
Chicago.
Chicago. Oh yeah, at the very beginning, Chicago.
There's been so right the very beginning,
Yeah.
Ozarks, because that's where the cartel.
Yeah.
That is actually all tied into why when they did do so many of these shows,
Mm-hmm.
because Chicago was, in particular for the Sinaloa and El Chapo's organization, Chicago was their point of distribution.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And
yeah,
50
yeah.
and his man Evo he was talking to were talking about that, and they actually brought up tied in the Ozark. They're like, wow, that's why in Ozark it was set in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole thing was going down. So yeah, they were trying to keep it. So man, yeah, more stuff coming for the truth. Yeah, this thing, this genre that we do and are involved in, just continues. So again, yeah, I'll check out. I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Al did get some great work on the Flores twins and that. So it's a thing. So we good over there for a second?
We good for a second. We got about 13.
So yeah, and on that last, but we were talking about Scott and BMF series blowing money fast.
Blowing money fast.
And they were talking, and it was giving me a thought. It was actually, I was listening to Jeezy. Jeezy was on $1 Million Worth of Game.
Okay.
Great interview, by the way. This guy's really, really matured and aged.
Yeah, the things he's doing with real estate.
Things he's doing with real estate, the squashing beefs, as we talked about earlier, with Gucci Man, and just real grown man shit, not the clown shit that so many black men that are in high profile positions. And that it's about family, it's about future generations, it's about taking this bag and creating some generational wealth.
That's right.
That he's really figured out. So shout out to Jeezy. But anyway, obviously, in the day, Jeezy and Meech, and when BMF hit Atlanta, he was right there as it was all going down.
Yeah, right in the midst of it.
In the midst of it. In fact, it's a great song about that. Song 13 on this song, The Recession. But, check it out.
Yeah.
Free plug for you, Jeezy. Call it your man one day. He was saying what really made the phenomenon of BMF and why the whole blowing money fast, and why that it was two parts, and it was just kind of interesting. That one, Atlanta, as Meech and the crew had got to Atlanta had really become solidified as the hip hop capital of the world.
Right.
And with that, of black culture.
Mm-hmm.
But that Meech brought, shout out to the home team here,
Yeah.
this is Jeezy quote, and I just agree with it, that what made him special in Atlanta was he brought the Detroit flavor to Atlanta.
That's right.
And when he said it, I thought, that's really accurate, because the way they performed, and Lord knows, is what they used to call the greatest show on earth, they clowned. But here in Detroit, it wouldn't have stuck out that much because we clown.
Yeah.
When brothers here, when they getting it, they will let the world know.
Yes.
They getting it.
Yes.
And even Atlanta is a bigger city than Detroit, but the flavor of Detroit and our opulence is truly worldwide. And there's actually data to support it. Do you know that for over 20 years, Detroit was the #1 seller of Maury alligator shoes in the world?
Come on.
So even though New York is 10 times bigger than Detroit, we still bought more gators in Detroit than all of New York.
I mean, late great Notorious affirmed that fact.
Snake pink gators, my Detroit players.
Yes. Yes.
Hudson's, you remember old Hudson's?
Oh yeah.
The Hudson's first salon at Northland was the country's #1 first salon. Not any place on Rodeo Drive, not any place on Fifth Avenue, not any place on the Miracle Mile in Chicago, but right there, 8 Mile in Greenfield at Hudson's, where nobody's selling more mink coats.
That's right.
Than them. Wow. Because that's how we do around these parts.
Yeah.
So that was insightful, and it was. That's what was the special mix when they brought that Detroit flavor down there with the hip hop of the whole hip hop world, seeing what that Detroit flavor looked like when it's on full display.
Yeah,
which
boy.
is what them boys put it on full display.
They did.
They gave them something to talk about, and yeah, they could rename Detroit that. Detroit from 1970 to 1995, aka blowing money fast.
But in blowing money fast, we got a particular little hit off of.
Yeah, if you look at episode 1 of Blowing Money's Fast, they do. It's right around like the 14-minute mark.
Yep.
And they're doing a trilogy, or like they're going through some photos, and Scott is talking. Scott Bernstein is doing the narration, and they're doing some backstory, and they are showing photos of all the heavy hitters that kind of were leading up to BMF and Meech and T's rise. And there's a photo of Demetrius Holloway, R.I.P.
Rest in peace.
There's a photo of Frank Nitty Usher, R.I.P. And then there is, where is it at? It is that photo right there.
Yeah.
That photo right there is shown on Blowing Money Fast, the BMF docu-series. So yeah, they're in the montage, and rightfully so. So yeah, shout out on that. That was a good look.
That was a real good look.
And got.
Oh, I was just gonna say, on that picture, wanted to send a special shout out to Charles Coleman, who's revolutionized the Bluetooth portrait. Hit up Charles Coleman. I don't have his social media. I'll put it on the screen, but check that out. He hooked that up for us.
Yeah, shout out. Thank you again for that, brother.
And we never did really give him his props for it, and then pointing it out, it just seemed right.
No, that's a good look, Lou. That was a good look too. So yeah, that was a good look. You guys watch Blowing Money Fast first episode. You'll see the photo displayed there on the program. And there's some other guys from the home team who are gonna be presented soon on there, but we'll wait for them to do that.
Yeah,
we promise not to.
Yeah, we can't really divulge too many.
But as soon as those episodes air, we definitely will. Give you guys that inside look that only we at Big Boss Filmworks Motown Mafia podcast can do. And again, I hope you guys please hit that like, share, and subscribe button.
And that notification bell.
So yeah, man, a lot. This thing is just, man, we're gonna be in they're gonna be doing soap operas. They might be, 5 years from now, there just might be a whole soap opera series of content about the likes of our ilk, right?
I'm telling you.
I can see it. That's where we're headed with this.
Big time. I mean, it's already happening.
It is.
I mean, stop and look at what's the network? You got Tubi. Tubi's populating.
By the way,
Tubi.
Motown Mafia available on Tubi Amazon Prime. Yeah.
Shout out to Tubi.
Yeah, so definitely can check us out there. See the doc. Motown Mafia Part 2, speaking of it, it's going to happen. We are starting the pre-production process for real. All jokes aside, 2023, Motown Mafia Part 2. We're going to let y'all know what happened in detail that only we can do, and with the footage, some never seen before footage in this format. What happened to the Fat Man and Pops after they did their time, what was going on with the two families when they were in the joint, what happened, and you know, the timeline. I think it'll be good for the audience, especially some of the younger audience, because as we start to move into the 80s and the 90s, the characters, whether it be Demetrius or Ed Hansen, or, you know, so the Motown Mafia story really starts to intersect with all these names that have now just become household names for people who follow this stuff. The Demetriuses, the Ed Hansers, what was going on, Chambers, you know. Shout out to the Chambers boys also out there. It's been a minute.
Big up.
Yeah. So it's a lot, bro, Lou. It's a lot.
Man.
It's a lot. Coming soon next month. This month. Well, it'll be next month. Tomorrow will be this month. Next month.
Yeah.
Patreon, gonna have some exclusive content for you guys.
And making the mafia.
It's coming. You're only guys gonna get the whole backstory. It's gonna be a real good setup to check out, so that when you do see or go revisit Motown Mafia, the documentary, the story of Eddie Jackson and Courtney Brown, and you see the making of the mafia, and you know how we started off first to make a movie and then ended up with the book Memoirs of a Kingpin's Kid, available on Amazon, and just all the journey, man.
Yeah, right.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, because I just remember more and more about the journey.
Definitely.
Atlanta,
Life is truly stranger than fiction.
Yeah, we were just looking at old white folks book, and it reminded we were down in Atlanta with, shout out to DJ Taxi, Richard Jennings,
Right.
down with Taxi at the Bronzeland Film Festival, and run into the legendary Pimp White Folk, and white folk like, oh boy, I knew Eddie and your daddy back on Hancock when it all first got started. White folk famous. White folk name ringing like dope bells.
Big shout out to white folk.
Big shout out to white folk. Yeah, man. It's been a lot, but let's get episode 57, man. The count is going. We got to think of something. We got 57. We got 43 more before the century mark. We got to think of something big to do for the 100.
Yeah,
or even the 75th. But again, appreciate you guys out there, man.
Yes.
We're gonna keep this thing going. We need to talk about 3246 Davison, West Davison, Vinyls Apparel. Please check them out. They are an official sponsor of the Motown Mafia podcast. Hottest apparel in Detroit. Mention anything associated with Big Boss Filmworks or Motown Mafia. And again, that is 3246 West Davison, Vinyls place. Right next to it is a great place to rent out for little events or any of your hookah desires, and that is Blazing Hookahs. One more time, and not the last time. That is 3246 West Davison, Vinyls. Please check them out. You good, bro?
I'm good, man. Check me out. Flyers Plus Graphics for any of your graphic needs. If you are a content creator and you kind of like what I've done with these thumbnails, hit me up.
I'll at you, man. All right, it's your man, CRB Jr., Louis Stevens, Big Boss Filmworks, Motown Mafia Podcast, doing what we do. Love you guys. Peace.
Love you. Peace.
Holla.